Hey there, Peter Claes from Masterclaes, and once again welcome back to my channel, which if you like it, please hit that thumbs up on this video, hit that subscribe button and that bell button, and you will be notified for any future releases. Today I am going to do a review and a shootout of a warm audio WA251 tube condenser mic. Let's have a look, because it says true CK12 style capsule, with a large diaphragm, a fully discrete signal path, a switchable polar pattern, and it comes with a Cinemag USA transformer. So let's have a look what's inside the box. We have a manual. We have a standard 7-pole cable, a power supply with 3 patterns selectable: Omni, Cardioid and Figure of 8. A nice shock mount, and deeper inside the box there are spare rubber bands for the shock mount, and then of course the microphone. Let's get rid of this and we can concentrate on the 251. As you all know, I like to open these up so we can have a look at the inside, and compared to the U67 WA67, this is a rather simple design. If you can look, it has fewer components and a tube, a 12AY7 tube. Similarity? None. Inexistent. If I compare this with my AKG, then I see more relevant looks than with a 251. So I don't know why they called it a 251 instead of a C12. The history goes that from 1947 until 1958, Telefunken worked together with Neumann to produce the microphones like a U47. But in 1958, Neumann said, "We're gonna stop that cooperation. Please find yourself another microphone manufacturer." So they turned to AKG, who already had a C12. But it was quite a complex microphone. Not only because of the CK12, but, and I must admit, something that the Germans and the Austrians were not good at is producing good screws. Telefunken asked, well, can you get us a C12 that is very easily to maintain on the road and in the studios? So they got this microphone with a bottom that could be unscrewed, and they would have one body in plexiglass that could easily be detached from the head. So if there was something wrong with the capsule, they could easily take it off. I'm not going to do that now. Or they could replace the body. Also, Neumann, they had the U47 with the cardioid and the Omni, and the U48 with the cardioid and an 8. And this one was designed to have the cardioid, the 8 and the Omni. So that was basically a better microphone than the U47 and the U48 combined. Also, you know, if you have a C12 or a C24, you know it's a very complex microphone to operate because you have a cable going in here, going to a pattern selector box, the pattern selector box going with a cable to the power supply having a cable to the mixing desk or the preamp. And you know, that's what they try to avoid. They have just a simple switch on the body. But if we have a look at an ELAM, you will notice that there are two different versions. We have the non-E version, which doesn't have an E, which means it's not suited for export. It doesn't mean it's not suited, but it has a different tube in it. This one has an AC701 tube. It's a tube, got one right here, you can see. It is a tube that is made especially for microphone use. You can find it in KM54s, SM69, M269Cs, but also in my Telefunken 251. And it will add a little bit of top end, something that we don't have in the 6072 tube. That is the same tube used in the E version. I don't have one like that, but I can show you how a tube like that looks like. Warm Audio used an 12AY7, and don't be fooled, it's a 6072A tube as well. Warm Audio used a JJ tube, which is a really good tube manufacturer. If I look at the microphone parts, basically the same. If you look at it, same height, but different interior. They use 6072A from Electro Harmonics, also a great tube manufacturer. And here in my AKG, I've got a 5-star General Electric tube. In this comparison, I'm going to rule out a little bit of discussion because I know already I hear the critics coming on the horses. Peter, yes, but you are comparing two microphones that are basically new with two vintage microphones. And no vintage microphone can sound the same. True, but you have to do something to compare. My C24, and it's not to brag, but my C24 is in mint condition. It features top-notch original CK12s with the same tube. This microphone has not been used much in its whole lifetime. So I think it's a really good comparison to something new. My ELAM has a reskinned CK12, and again I can hear the critics coming on the horses. You can contact Pieter Dreefvaal to see his graphs on how he reskins CK12s, and it's near identical to an original CK12. Also, these two mics, I had to miss them for about a month because I sent them to Dreefvaal just before making this review video. So I don't think you can find better maintained microphones than these two. So I think it's a decent comparison between these four. What we're gonna do next is we're gonna have a listen to them. I had a great singer-songwriter from Belgium here, a friend of mine, Michael Asnot. Please check him out on the socials. He's a great guy, great singer-songwriter. And he came into the studio. I went into the What's That Sound studio from a dear friend of mine, Tim, where we recorded this. I set up the mics. As you can see in the video, we had the microphones pretty close together because otherwise, you know, there's too much spacing. And I've been testing a lot of setups, and with, you know, these shock mounts, it's not always easy to get the mic close to another mic unless you just tilt it and then, you know, you get rid of this bump, you see. So that's why they are in a pretty weird shape, but that is the only way I could get them close together. By now you must have wondered, what's the black one? Well, actually this is a clone too. This is a clone from the microphone parts do-it-yourself group. And as you can see, you get all the components and you have to solder them together. And they have used a 6072A from Electro Harmonics. Slightly different components if I compare it with this one. So they have, like, let me show you, different setup. And I thought, well, let's try that microphone as well, because it's one of my dear friends, also a great drummer, WA251, who built this mic. And he said, Peter, can you just use it as a comparison as well when you do the ELAM test? So I've got 4 tracks set up. Let's do this. A little bit like the Daltons. So I've got 4 tracks. The ELAM C24, the microphone parts, and then the warm audio, the 251. And I'm gonna have Michael play it, and we're gonna switch between them. I recorded it using a Universal Audio X8P, and we kind of got the gain matched in the studio. And what I did here was use Insight to match the loops of the track by track from the beginning until the end, and it is within 0.1 dB to rule out all discussions that might arise using levels, etc. So that's why you can see here that I sometimes have different gain settings on the clip itself, and also here on the vocal track, which we are gonna have a listen to later on. Little bit of EQ. I've got this Pro Q3 here. So I took out a little bit of the low end, the boominess, because of the way Michael played the guitar. And I copied that to all 4 channels. So it actually does the same thing on each track. And also on the vocal channel, I just did a little bit of high pass filtering, and that's it. So we got correct levels, we got the same EQ on all the tracks for guitar, and the same EQ on all vocal tracks. So let's have a listen, and let's start with the ELAM. Enjoy. What did you think? For me, I think I can clearly hear the difference in tubes between the ELAM and my C24. There's definitely the non-E with the AC701 that has much more sparkle in the top. I think it's a little bit comparable to if you have a U67 and you have an M269. Also there you have that fraction more of that sparkle in the high end. Also, you know, for me it gives a little bit more punch and depth in the low end, while the C24 is a little bit more rounded but still very focused. The microphone parts is quite close to my C24, I think. And I'm sorry about my reaction, but when I switched to the 251, and I mean the warm audio, it was like everything collapsed. I must admit that the warm audio is the least noisiest of all four. And that might influence a little bit too, because you can clearly hear the hiss on the ELAM, the hiss on the 24, and the microphone parts, which is already a little bit less. The 251, the warm audio, is the most silent one of the four, but I think it lacks body. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a small part like this, where he openly strums his strings a little bit more, and I'm gonna have that section in repeat, which is a little bit shorter, and we're gonna have a listen to the ELAM, then the C24, then the microphone parts, and then the warm once again, just in a shorter period. I'll do a comparison with ELAM, C24, ELAM, microphone parts, ELAM, warm audio. So you can have a listen to them compared to what I think is the best sounding microphone of all four, my 251. So here we go. Let's start with the ELAM. again, feel free to comment below. What are your thoughts? I also had Michael sing a few parts, so can have a listen to that. Let's start also with the ELAM, then the C24, then to the microphone parts, and then to the warm audio vocal. Here we go.
I am buying a new car. My old one finally broke down. No more looking at the spot where you sat and spilled that chocolate bar. Your feet covered my dashboard lights. Size 4's blocking half my sight. Hell, I don't remember much, but every day I would pick you up. We drove to Berlin together. It was there that I lost my love. I don't know if I remember, but God, I miss that old Ford truck. I am buying a new car. My old one finally broke down. No more looking at the spot where you sat and spilled that chocolate bar. Your feet covered my dashboard lights. Size 4's blocking half my sight. Hell, I don't remember much, but every day I would pick you up. We drove to Berlin together. It was there that I lost my love. I don't know if I remember, but God, I miss that old Ford truck. I am buying a new car. My old one finally broke down. No more looking at the spot where you sat and spilled that chocolate bar. Your feet covered my dashboard lights. Size 4's blocking half my sight. Hell, I don't remember much, but every day I would pick you up. We drove to Berlin together. It was there that I lost my love. I don't know if I remember, but God, I miss that old Ford truck. I am buying a new car. My old one finally broke down. No more looking at the spot where you sat and spilled that chocolate bar. Your feet covered my dashboard lights. Size 4's blocking half my sight. Hell, I don't remember much, but every day I would pick you up. We drove to Berlin together. It was there that I lost my love. I don't know if I remember, but God, I miss that old Ford truck.
And what did you think? Comments below. For me, 251, big, very big. deep. You know, if he goes down like, you can hear the in the voice. C24 has that rounded top. Microparts is very close. I think I'm gonna have to buy some stock from them after this video. And the 251 sounds smaller, very focused, a little bit on the hard side, but I do believe why people like the mic, because it's more what they call mix ready, maybe just a little bit less big sounding, because that could work better in your mix. But if I compare it to my 251 or 24, it just sounds rather small. I'm gonna do another part here again and switch a little bit faster between the tracks. I'm gonna use the first 4 phrases. Yeah, I think doing music is still better than reading something from a sheet that has all the letters and stuff. Let's have a listen to that one again. I'm gonna use my 251 as a benchmark for all 3 alternatives. So here we go again.
I am buying a new car. My old one finally broke down. No more looking at the spot where you sat and spilled that chocolate bar. I am buying a new car. My old one finally broke down. No more looking at the spot where you sat and spilled that chocolate bar. I am buying a new car. My old one finally broke down. No more looking at the spot where you sat and spilled that chocolate bar. I am buying a new car. My old one finally broke down. No more looking at the spot where you sat and spilled that chocolate bar. I am buying a new car. My old one finally broke down. No more looking at the spot where you sat and spilled that chocolate bar. I am buying a new car. My old one finally broke down. No more looking at the spot where you sat and spilled that chocolate bar. I am buying a new car. My old one finally broke down. No more looking at the spot where you sat and spilled that chocolate bar.
So, real ELAM versus Warm Audio 251. Both very serviceable. Do they sound the same? No, I don't think so. I think that with the WA67, Warm did a closer cloning than with this one. But what do you expect, man? I think this one is just one of the most holy grail-y microphones on this planet. Just having a microphone that costs way less than this one, you cannot expect the same thing. Microphone parts, great job, but you have to solder it yourself. Maintenance wise, then you know what's going on. It has the same accessories as the warm audio. And C12 or C24, different beast on its own, but I think that the microphone parts just belongs a little bit in this league, and this one is a little bit outside the league. So let's leave these two out of the equation. If you need a very mix-ready microphone, I think you can use the warm. If you know how to treat a microphone with a little bit of EQ and some nice tubey preamps, maybe this one might do the trick as well. Microphone parts is just a do-it-yourself. It is a do-it-yourself microphone, so it might cost a little bit less, but you have to have your own effort. Nonetheless, I think they did a great job with the construction also. Something that I criticized on with the WA67. But I know if 25,000 people look at this video, there will be 25,000 different opinions. Just comment below if you liked it. Please hit that thumbs up. It motivates, and to see all the subscribers rise, I must thank you again. My name is Claes. I hope you enjoyed this video and hope to see you next time. Bye bye.